Well, hot damn, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. That's right, Daddy's back, and it's good to be here, guys. Welcome as we gather together to talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, streaming, all sorts of good things. And I was in Vegas. There we go, I was in Vegas. Anyway, sitting over here, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
Wow, John, you weren't like incarcerated during your time in Vegas and somebody gave that to you.
What did or did not happen in Vegas is not up for public discussion right now. I'm just mentioning that.
Okay.
Sitting right beside Robert, who sat in my chair on Friday. Thank you so much, both of you guys, for filling it. That's right, you were Daddy.
Yeah, you were.
Chris Carr is here, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing so great. I have working AC, John. It's a miracle. What's going to go wrong for me this week? Stay tuned.
Hey, at least the car has been working as advertised.
The car's perfect.
The car's working good.
Pretty, too.
Thank you.
I get excited every time I drive in and see it.
Aw.
Sitting over there, he's joining you guys in the live chat today, sipping on his aviation already, Mr. Ray Ora. Ray, how you doing?
So, Jurassic World, Dominion, weird, but I liked it.
Ray, it's official. Run the headlines. Ray like Jurassic World Dominion. And of course, running the show, sitting back there, producer Jonathan Voico. Jonathan, good for you to be here.
Good morning, everybody.
And of course, it is wonderful to have you guys here. Here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it down into two parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. How do you get a live comment or question on? Well, number one, you got to be watching live. Number two, once we get to the end of the main topics, I will announce that we are opening up the super chats. And when we do, you guys can fire in your comments, questions, thoughts, observations, theories, whatever. Just be ready to do it quickly because we only leave the super chats open for about 2 minutes because they fill up fast. So be ready to go. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. Want to remind you guys, if you need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, and who doesn't, but you can't be in front of a YouTube video, maybe you're commuting, maybe you're jogging, whatever. Good news. There is an audio-only version that we simply call, creatively enough, the John Campea Show podcast. Go on your favorite podcast. Look at all those 5 stars. Go on your favorite podcasting app of choice and search for it and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it. Also, don't forget we have a secondary podcast feed for our mailbag show. Just go and search for Mailbag, a John Campea Show podcast bonus feed, and again, subscribe to it today. All right, guys, with all that down, let's get into a couple of off the tops here. And the first one we're going to start with is this. Now, one of the movies that kind of snuck up on me, I was looking forward to Knives Out. I was looking forward to it. Rian Johnson's a terrific director. Some mixed feelings certain people have about his Star Wars movie, but aside from that, pretty much universally acknowledged a great director. Doing like an old Agatha Christie style murder mystery in Knives Out. He had Daniel Craig, Chris Evans. I mean, that cast was loaded, absolutely loaded. Of course, the immortal good Canadian kid, Christopher Plummer, was in there as well. And that movie was fantastic. Lots of Oscar love for it. It was absolutely wonderful, brilliant. Then we heard we're getting more Knives Out films, and Netflix bought 2 of them for over $400 million. Daddy, why are we going broke? I have no idea why Netflix is going broke, but they bought 2 unseen, unshot films for $400 million, and Rian Johnson got a lot of that, and he's very, very happy. And so did Daniel Craig. He's pretty happy too, because he's not doing Bond no more. But now, we've got a title. And the title, do we got a screen for this, image for this? Here it is. The title is called Glass Onion, a Knives Out Mystery. Glass Onion, a Knives Out Mystery. Now, movie titles are like posters. They really don't mean anything. Like a good title, bad title, good poster, bad poster. They have absolutely no influence on whether a movie is good or not. It's just marketing, just a piece of marketing. This is a bad title. Although I will say I love the second half of the title, A Knives Out Mystery, because Rob, you and I were talking before we went live. I was mentioning that I love it because it feels very Agatha Christie-ish. I love that part, but Glass Onion felt weird. But then, Chris, you pointed something out to me. What was that?
That this is the a title of a Beatles song off of the White Album that references Strawberry Fields and the Walrus, so it's setting us up for some groovy, trippy nonsense. And it's also probably how you can understand Benoit getting that weird donut analogy, right?
Ooh.
He's a funky guy.
So, and now help me out here, because I'm not a Beatles guy. I know the movie takes place in Greece.
Yes.
Does that have any bearing on this song or anything?
Not particularly, but it does on the actual log line of the film, in which Benoit is going to peel back the layers of a mystery. This is the Knives Out Shrek crossover that we've all been waiting for. It's here.
It's here and it's ready to go. Well, listen, whatever the title is, I don't care. I love this franchise. And I really do hope this turns into a 5, 6, 7 parts series, that every 2 to 3 years we get Daniel Craig back with a whole new bunch of all the A-listers still working in the business every single time. This would be fantastic. And, Rob, one of the other things was we heard that Netflix was considering that they're going to go with a theatrical release model, and that Knives Out might be it. There's no more new information about that so far. But anyway, Rob, you hear the title. What do you think about it, and where's your anticipation level right now for the next Knives Out?
Well, I mean, the glass onion, I don't hate that. But what I don't like, a Knives Out mystery is kind of good, but shouldn't it be, what's Daniel Craig's character's full name?
LeBlanc?
Benoit LeBlanc.
Shouldn't it be a Benoit LeBlanc mystery? Because Knives Out was so specific to that story. I mean, the whole Game of Thrones. And I understand that it's a sequel to that, but I would think that they would want to brand Daniel Craig's character.
Yeah, but the branding's already done.
I know.
Right? See, that's
I know.
Everybody recognizes, like you just call it a Benoit Blanc mystery. Not everybody might clue into that immediately. You say a Knives Out thing.
And I guess when you say Knives Out, if it's about murder, which these things always there's always a murder. You could just say that Knives Out could be just a euphemism for murder. Is this a Knives Out situation? Yes, sir, it is. Someone's dead.
Oh, I like that.
That's it's like 420.
Instead of blaze it, it's just
Just
stab
Knives
it.
Out. Yeah, but it could be
Knives
anything.
Out, stab it.
Anyone's dead, it's Knives Out.
Chris, where's your anticipation right now for Knives Out? And what did you think about the original?
I love the original. That was one of my favorite films to come out that year. And I'm really, really hyped about this, particularly because of Kathryn Hahn. I know,
her.
Right?
Yeah.
I
The
love her
cast is
so much.
great.
This cast is incredible. I mean, Janelle Monáe is in here too, who I absolutely adore. So I think this is going to be really, really fun. I do think it has a lot riding on it, though, too, because the original was so great, so fun, unique while still hearkening back to the tropes of an Agatha Christie mystery. There's a lot of pressure on this sequel to really, really deliver and still subvert expectations like the first one did. But how do you subvert expectations when your expectation is to have it subverted?
Especially, a lot riding on it, when you've already paid for the third one.
So much money.
Hey, there's no backing out of that at this point. The third one's already done. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? And by the way, it says coming out this holiday season. So it is coming out this year. Knives Out 2 is officially called Glass Onion. I think it's a terrible title. But it doesn't really matter. I still think this movie is going to be awesome. What are you guys thinking? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move into one more off the top, and that is this. One of my favorite, I'm not even going to say filmmakers, I'm going to say storytellers. One of my favorite storytellers right now is Taika Waititi. And I got, he'd done the other things like Wilder People and stuff like that, but he did that one thing. He did What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, right? That I was slow to get on. Like, I was late to the party on that one. But everybody told me, you got to see this little low-budget vampire thing called What We Do in the Shadows. You got to see it. You got to see it. You got to see it. So finally, Ann and I were at Disneyland one day with a couple of friends of ours. And as we're leaving, they said, guys, if you haven't seen it, first thing you need to do tonight, cancel plans, just watch it. So we did. We got home, bought it, watched it. And I can't remember a low-budget indie affecting me that much. Like, my sides hurt. I laughed so much and I instantly fell in love. And I did not, love the idea of them doing a TV show, but I ended up loving the TV show too. Anyway, then all of a sudden, that success opened the doorway for Taika Waititi to land a gig at Marvel to do Thor Ragnarok. We thought, okay, well, I loved What We Do in the Shadows, but okay, let's see what he does here. And he made the funniest yet darkest MCU movie yet. This is, of course, before Infinity War and Endgame came out, which were darker, but this was the darkest MCU movie yet the funniest at the same time. It was a terrific balance of fun, entertainment. It was just a great time watching that film. And now he's back doing Thor Love and Thunder. We got Lady Jane is in here now, all this kind of good stuff. And it's official now. The tickets are now on sale. You can actually go online.
You can buy this.
I still giggle. I see Chris Evans' physique. What's that?
I said, you can buy tickets. You can go see this. Look at this.
Like look at that. Yeah, you can buy tickets. I said Chris Evans. I meant Chris Hemsworth. You can go see that. That's ridiculous. Like, I've never seen a legit actor actually look like that. That's just crazy. Anyway, to commemorate as well the tickets going on sale for Thor: Love and Thunder, they released a new little 30-second ad, which gave us a few more glimpses into the film. I'm going to be honest with you. Didn't love the little 30-second promo. It was a little too light for me. Like, I like the Taika Waititi stuff when it balances out the light goofiness with some of the heavier stuff as well. It's kind of, but no, you can only do so much with a 30-second spot. I understand that. Anyway, Rob, tickets are going on sale now. So I got a couple questions for you. Number one, what do you think about the little spot they released for it? But number two, with the tickets now out, how do you think this thing is going to perform with the audiences? Do you think people are going to be rushing to go buy tickets for this thing? Do you think it'll do as well as Doctor Strange 2 did? Maybe not as well. I don't know. How do you see this all?
Oh, no. I think this movie looks wildly entertaining. I mean, I thought it was a little lighthearted. This is the guy who's coming to kill us. That was a little weird. But I mean, I loved seeing all the character designs. I think it looks bonkers. I think if nothing else, it's going to be wildly entertaining. And I mean, who doesn't want to see it? And I will say this. Those costumes, the Vegas version of Thor's costume, whatever, is awesome. And look at Valkyrie's armor. She's King Valkyrie now.
Yeah, she's King Valkyrie
Hot Toys, don't let me down. I need my Valkyrie figure. You didn't give me one for Ragnarok. I want these outfits. Come on, King Valkyrie.
And it's still stupid how good Natalie Portman looks.
Oh my gosh, this armor is incredible.
They also released character posters.
Yes, they did. Yeah,
and so they released character posters of all of those characters that we see in the frame. They also released character posters of the two horses that are drawing the
goats.
The goats.
The goats.
The goat boat, Rob.
The goat.
It's called the goat boat. Come on,
gosh, fake nerd boy.
Sorry,
Read a book, Rob.
Yeah, that's what I was advocating this weekend on Twitter. You all need to read books.
Oh, how'd that go?
Yeah, how'd that go?
Did the internet love that?
Look, on the internet, I was told that Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie and that the original Star Wars is just dated nonsense.
Rob, people are stupid. You know this.
It's the best of the new ones.
Wow. But I think this movie looks really good. I mean, it looks like it takes you on a journey. We go different places. I mean, we meet Zeus. Russell Crowe's in it. What's not?
I'm still. I mean, obviously, I just need more Christian Bale as Gore. Anyway, Chris, same questions to you. Number one, what do you think about the little ad spot? But now that the tickets are on sale, honestly, Rob very skillfully dodged the question. But will this do? Do you think this will get enough people out to do as well as Doctor Strange did, or not quite as well?
I think it's going to blow Doctor Strange out of the water.
Really?
Everyone I know who even isn't a diehard Marvel fan loved Ragnarok. Adored it, and they felt like they could watch it without really knowing a lot about the other MCU films. You know, this was a great casual comic book movie viewing experience, and for those of us who are super, super into this universe, it was excellent, right? It was dark and fun and had a rad soundtrack. So I think this is going to do exceptionally well. I didn't mind the teaser. I love that it's all fun and games right now because, I mean, this is a little horrible of me, but I would love so many people to be in the theater and then have the moment of, oh God, oh, this took a turn. Oh, this is very, very dark, because we're seeing glimpses of Christian Bale, right? I want everyone to go into here thinking this is going to be a happy, good, fun time, and then have Gore the God Butcher come out and smack him across the face and go, hold on to your butts. It's not that kind of movie, kids. I want them to be scared shitless.
And to your point, like Taika kind of did that with Ragnarok, right? Because it's like, oh, it's fun, the bright colors, the bright lights. Oh, Odin dies.
Yep.
And then it's fun and it's everything. Oh, they destroyed Mjolnir. And then everything's fun and whatever. It's like, oh, they destroyed Asgard.
Well, even, I mean, you look at something like Jojo Rabbit, which given the subject matter, you knew it was going to have dark turns in it.
Yeah.
But all the promos for that were, oh, look at how fun Rebel Wilson's being here. Look at how cute this kid is that we've got. And then you see the movie and you're sobbing.
And then you see Shoes.
Yep. Oh.
I mean,
and Shoes broke the world at that point.
To answer your question, I think this movie is going to do quite well. But again, I would say.
But again, that wasn't the question. The question was, will this do as well, not as well or better than Doctor Strange?
No, that's what I was going to say, because Doctor Strange passed 900 million.
Right, what was this opening weekend? 180. Ray, can you double check on that? I think it was 180 something, maybe 170.
Again, I think it's hard to say, because a lot of people, a lot of diehard MCU fans too, did not appreciate the lighthearted tone of Ragnarok. You know, some people that didn't dig it. I did. I thought it was great. I love the Kirby-esque production design. I love Jeff Goldblum. You know, I thought the whole movie. I loved Korg, and we've been getting a lot of them. So I think it really, like anything else, it depends if this movie delivers the kind of entertainment that it looks to be delivering. I think it might outgross Doctor Strange.
What were you looking for?
Opening weekend numbers for Doctor Strange.
Opening weekend was 187.
So it's one. So it did quite well. That's a
tough number.
That's a big number, man.
It's a big number.
Can Thor outdo that number?
I would have to wait to give you a definitive answer till we have at least some kind of reaction from people out of the theater that have seen a press screening or something. I mean, we might not see anything until the premiere.
What do you think it'll be, John?
Okay. So by the way, I'm just taking a second here to put up a question for our audience. Okay, so guys watching live, will Thor have a bigger opening than? See, I'm making spelling mistakes all over the place. I'm trying to rush.
Oh, well,
than
while
Doctor Strange.
While you're thinking about that, John, Lord Thunder gifted 5 memberships, and one of our premium members sent a message, but it has to do with this. He says still having issues on AMC app trying to get tickets for a Sunday showing.
Yeah, see, we didn't do Ticket Watch or anything like that for, because I didn't even know the tickets were on sale right now. So if AMC seems to have a lot of problems when a big movie comes out. They got to get that fixed. By the way, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. That is awesome.
And that was from our member Denny Dots. Sorry.
I do not think it will make Doctor Strange numbers. I think it'll do. I mean, it's going to be big. I think it's going to be a very big opening weekend. But like, people have become so desensitized to hearing some of these big, huge numbers and think, oh yeah, 187. No, that's huge. 187 is huge. So I'm gonna think it's gonna come just.
Do I get a Hot Toys wager?
190.
What would you like to wager here, Chris?
To not do what we talked about before the show.
Oh, that if you want to wager for a hot toy, that is definitely. By the way, guys, please stop thinking what you're thinking the way Chris said that.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't hear what this
it's
was.
Work related.
Wow.
It's work related.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, you want a hot toy, you got to put something like that on the line. Yeah, now she wants to think about it.
I have to think about it. Now, do I believe in Thor enough?
Yeah, look, either way, it's going to be big. And by the way, we already have, let me see here, we have 1,200 votes in so far, and 72% of you right now are saying yes, Thor will have a bigger opening weekend than Doctor Strange.
Wow.
I hope so.
195, baby.
Ooh.
You're going to go 195.
Come on, take it, John.
No. Because I think that is within reach. Right? I'm thinking it'll come under 187, but I think 185 to 200 is within reach. I think it's strong possible. Anyway, guys, question is for you.
255.
That I will take that wager right now. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Thor, Love and Thunder tickets are now on sale. What do you think about that new little 30-second teaser? And more importantly, how big do you think this thing can be opening weekend now that tickets are out there? Can it be bigger than the 187 that Doctor Strange made? And whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. You know, you guys watch the John Campea Show every day to learn stuff. We love learning stuff, but if you love learning stuff, you need to get with our sponsors of today's show, the great folks over at Masterclass. Guys, we want to take just a minute and thank the sponsor of this video, Masterclass. Masterclass is offering classes on a wide variety of topics, like all taught by world-class masters at the absolute tops of their field. Each class is broken down out into individual video lessons, usually like around 10 minutes or so long, and members can explore at their own pace. And each class is supported by downloadable materials, lessons, recipes, or more that you can all find at masterclass.com. For example, are you into streaming? Well, you can take the Building Your Streaming class taught by ninjas so you can sharpen up on your streaming skills. Or if you're interested in independent filmmaking, take independent filmmaking from Academy Award winner Spike Lee. You want to get classes on how to direct? How about from Ron Howard? The very first one I personally looked up and got into was Business Leadership by the great Big Papa Iger, Bob Iger himself. And I was absolutely enthralled with it. I love every single minute of this stuff. If any of those apply to you, you need to try Masterclass. So I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass. And as a John Campea Show viewer, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea. Once again, to get 15% off your annual membership, go to masterclass.com/Campea. And a big thank you to our friends at Masterclass. Seriously, all of us around here, we love Masterclass. And thank you to Masterclass for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that all down, let's move into our main topic, shall we? And how do we select our main topics here on the John Campea Show? Well, it's really rather simple. You see, you guys come up with them. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime, 24/7, over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Our first topic comes from Eldon Fent. Hello, John and crew. You've been saying for a while that you believe Chris Evans will return at some point to the MCU as Captain America again. Well, it looks like he's open to it. While he was promoting Lightyear, he said it would be a challenge and the circumstances would have to be just right, but that he's open to it. What do you think about his comments, and do you still believe he'll be back with the Shield sooner or later? Thanks.
Thanks a lot for saying that in, Eldon. And listen, it's no secret. Like, my all-time favorite comic book character, all time, is Magneto. But my favorite MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe character, has been and continues to this day to be Chris Evans' incarnation of Steve Rogers' Captain America. That character to me is the heartbeat of the MCU. That, along with Tony, who's been very important. I still don't think the MCU has recovered from losing both of those two key. Like, if Chris Evans as Captain America is the heart, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony is the lungs. I mean, it's really hard to see them missing. But I have told you, fear not, everybody, for I have opened my heart and let you know that they'll be back. They will absolutely be back. May not be this year, may not be next year, might not even be in 3 years. But they will both be back. And there have been little whispers and things like that kind of saying to that. And of course, you know, sometimes if it's absolutely 100% sure they're not coming back, no, we're done, we've moved on, blah, they'll say that. But in promoting Lightyear, which, by the way, how good does that movie look? Can't wait to see that in its entirety. In promoting Lightyear, Chris Evans was kind of approached and asked, hey, can you go back to be Captain America again? This is what he said. Chris Evans said the following. He said, that seems to be something people would like to see. I don't want to disappoint anybody, but it's tough to... It was such a good run, and I'm so happy with it. It's so precious to me. It would have to be perfect. It would just be scary to rattle something that is, again, so dear to me. That role means so much to me. So to revisit it, it would be a tall order. Basically, the answer was yes. But he said exactly what all these actors always say. Oh, you know, it would have to be the right script. Oh, they'd have to really get it right. It'd have to be something special. Or in this case, Chris Evans says, it would have to be perfect. And you notice how he started off answering the question? Wow, it really is something people want to see. Okay, Chris, we see you. we see you negotiating with Disney as you're answering. Yeah, oh, wow, me back as Captain America? Yeah, it's totally something people want to see. But, you know, it would have to be perfect. Well, of course they're going to say that. Look, I still stand by this 1,000%. Because Chris Evans, he is a great performer and a great actor. Yeah, again, we just talked about Knives Out. How good was he in Knives Out? Mm-hmm. How good does he look in that? What's the one he's doing with Ryan Reynolds? Ryan with the other good Canadian kid, Ryan Gosling?
Mm-hmm.
The Gray Man. He looks so great with that frickin' 1970s porn stash. Gosh. It looks amazing. I cannot wait to see this movie. And I don't say that often about Netflix movies, but I am really excited. He's a terrific performer, obviously. But he was born to play Steve Rogers. He was just born to play it. And I remember I was lucky enough that I got to be the very first person to interview him after the very first public screening. It was at Comic-Con. They did the first public screening of it. And I got to interview him right after that screening. It was me, CNN, and I think NBC was waiting after me. And I got to chat with him. And I remember him saying, like, I went in for it, and he didn't look like he was going to be the first choice. He said, one of the big things working against me was the fact that I was in another Marvel property movie already. I was Johnny Storm. I was the Human Torch in I almost said the Fantastic and the Furious, in the Fantastic Four. Yes, the Fantastic and the Furious, coming to you from Vin Diesel soon. In fact, so I didn't know that I'd get it, and he got it, and he has just absolutely owned it. And the other great thing, too, is that not only was he great in the role, but he and Robert Downey Jr. ended up finding a way to create a fantastic chemistry together. I still remember that one scene in Age of Ultron where they're on Clint's farm and they're starting to have their first argument, and he's holding that log and he rips the log in half.
Yeah.
That's a great scene. They had such great chemistry. So look, yes, it's clear he's going to be back. I'm not saying they're going to make an announcement at this D23 coming up September, but he's going to be back, and that's going to be a damn good day. As a matter of fact, the only thing that'll make me happier is to find out that Henry's coming back as Superman. That'll top this. But other than that, Chris Evans coming back as Captain America is it. Chris, you hear this news. You heard his words.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what's he saying to the world? Do you think we will at some point see him back as Captain America?
Oh, I really, really do. And I agree with you here, too. It's a very smart, well-crafted statement, too, of, yeah, it's wild that people really just resonated with
Wow,
me in that
people
role.
like me.
It's so interesting that that's what the people want. Oh, I guess we should give them what they want, as long as it's in service to them. Right? It's smart. It's really, really great. But he is so good in this role, and he's taken the Captain America level or thing to a whole nother level in his personal life too. Of, you know, he created a website that was all about doing different media research so that you could actually get media that was non-biased, and was doing stories on that so that people could be more informed during election seasons and things like that. He has made it a point to become somebody who does speak on political issues and things as well, which I know a lot of times we don't want actors to do that. But he's become somebody who this is so intrinsically tied to who he is that of course he's coming back to the role. And I love that he's saying that it has to be perfect, and I understand that it needs to be well done for him, but also at the same time, Chris, it's going to be a paycheck thing too, isn't it? And if you get a whole bunch of people wanting you back in a role, I think you've got a little bit more room to negotiate what Disney's going to pay you.
Rob, you heard Chris's words. What are you thinking about this? Number one, do you think with the ending that he had in Endgame,
he's not dead.
He's not dead.
No.
So do you think he should come back? And do you think he will come back, especially now after hearing his comments here?
Well, in the comics, he was assassinated.
Yes. Shot on the steps of the Capitol.
Shot on the steps, dead. And he came back from that. So
he walked it off.
Look, I mean, I think that here's the thing. In my mind, one, I think absolutely they're going to bring Captain America back in some way, shape, or form. Frankly, I'm surprised we haven't seen old man Steve Rogers come back.
Right.
Even in a consulting position.
He's on the moon, Rob, remember?
Yeah, it's wherever. We're hanging out with Nick Fury with the Skrulls. But I do.
Don't laugh. You could be freaking right about
This is very
that.
true.
Like, I know you're joking and everything, but that might have been like a stroke of genius right there.
I'm glad. You know, what can I say? I'm always dropping gold on this show. But the thing is, I think that there is a way, whether it's the quantum realm or the multiverse or something, there'd be a really interesting way to bring him back. And why not? You know, I mean, I think that they can. I would like to see him come back where it matters. Like, it's not just a cheat. Like, he's not a variant. I'd love to see. Yes. I'd love to see the real Captain America, our universe's Captain America. He did go back to return the Infinity Stones.
Yep.
And what if during that journey he actually comes back to our universe for some reason? Because he could have returned at whatever time he
just
was
put himself
return.
in ice again.
Goes back and puts
himself in ice.
He was traveling through the quantum realm, so he shows up and he could go on an adventure. But then he could say at the end, "Look, I have to leave now because if I don't complete my journey, the things that are supposed to happen, there's not going to be an old man Rogers. I mean, I have to finish what I'm doing. I've just made a pit stop here." And they could do it so it could actually work and be poignant because we could see him leave again and not necessarily through death. And it could be something interesting and poignant and resonant. And then we're all like, oh, but he's going to go away for the last time now, or maybe not.
By the way, I've had some people, when this stuff about Chris Evans come up, especially since Falcon the Winter Soldier, said, well, what about, Chris Evans come back, but what about Sam Wilson? Well, Sam Wilson is a great character played by Anthony Mackie. Whether the nickname of Sam Wilson's character is Falcon, or whether his nickname is Captain America, or whether he wears a costume that happens to have a star in the middle of it or not. He is still a great character and will still be there. Or, Steve Rogers can come back and he can take on the American Agent name or what, he can take on whatever name he wants, right? So, because they've done that in the comics as well,
of course.
right?
I just don't want it to become a Cher farewell tour. I don't want Chris Evans to come back and be going for the last time 6 times.
Right. And I really liked what they did with Anthony Mackie's character. And my whole thing, I think I like Captain America and the Winter Soldier more than most people did, because I really like that central conflict that they brought forward from the comic book series, The Truth.
Right.
Where he had to decide, should I take on the mantle of Captain America?
Yeah, that was the best part of that show.
I thought it was great. And, the debate that he was having and all of that, and that he earned it. And I would not like to see, somebody come and take that away from him, because I think within the MCU, his journey as Captain America is just beginning. And I think, like you just pointed out, if Steve Rogers were to come back, look, as a kid, I loved Captain America and the Falcon. I love those team up comics. And it'd be kind of neat if Steve Rogers was Falcon, was Anthony Mackie's sidekick for a while. A little reversal of
they still all idolize Steve. I don't
know.
But you know what? It brings up a really good question that we've seen in a lot of movies and TV shows, which is this philosophical moral dilemma question. Okay, guy goes missing and presumed dead. Couple years pass. His beloved wife moves on, marries again. Guy comes back. They did that in Castaway too, right? But we've seen a lot. That guy comes back. What should she do? It
happened in Manifest, John.
I don't care what happened in Manifest. But she's now married to this new guy. Should she stay with new guy, or should she go back to who is her husband, just disappear, but isn't actually dead? Big dilemma there. That would kind of maybe be the same thing if
I think there's a lot of great story possibilities there. Look, I just like seeing Chris Evans in that role, because like you said, even one of my favorite scenes in Endgame is just when he's sitting down talking to Natasha about the state of the world.
Yeah.
There's that great moment where just the two of them are conversing, and I would love to bring back Old Man Rogers too. I want to see where's he at now.
I told you he's on the moon.
Yeah, I know he's on the moon. I know. But I would like to have him opine about the state of the MCU. If they're going to have Secret Wars and Kang is going to show up, or whatever the hell they're going to do.
He should have been in the audience at the Captain America live Broadway show that they showed off in Hawkeye. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about Chris Evans' comments? Do you believe he will come back to be Captain America, Steve Rogers again someday? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 2, shall we? Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This one comes from Steve Calderon. Jurassic World Dominion opened with $143 million this weekend. That's only $5 million less than the opening of Fallen Kingdom, while Top Gun Maverick continues to hold strong, dropping 44% in its third weekend with $50 million.
Wow.
This week, Maverick will soon pass Doctor Strange 2 to become the highest 2022 movie domestically. Thoughts on this weekend's box office?
All right, so I'm going to put the Top Gun thing aside because I have a feeling there's going to be a story to talk about tomorrow about Top Gun. So we'll put that aside for a second with that. But I will say this. Last week, or a week and a half ago, I said, man, it's doing great. I don't know if I see it hitting $1 billion, but it's doing great. It's got a shot, but I don't know if I see it doing $1 billion. I got to take that back. I mean, it does look at this point like it will cross that $1 billion mark. Not a guarantee, but it is starting to look like it's going to do that. Let's talk about Jurassic World. All right. So Jurassic World comes out, makes $143 million opening weekend. It's a fantastic number for them, especially when you consider only $5 million short of whatever. I mean, it's weird to say pandemic era today because I just got back from Vegas. I mean, we have certainly progressed a lot in the pandemic era, but the fact of the matter is, as the studies have shown, there are still chunks of people who have not started going back to the movie theater yet. Mm-hmm. Top Gun did a great job of bringing the over 40 demographic back, but there's still a good number of people that have not gone back yet. So that's why we still kind of will use terms like pandemic era, even in the post-pandemic recovery area. These are still numbers you have to take in consideration. Making 43 million, or 143, I should say, that's nothing to sneeze at.
No.
That's actually pretty good. Now, it should have gotten a boost with the whole thing of they did spend $100 million on marketing this thing. And the fact that you've got the OG cast back from the original Jurassic World or Jurassic Park back, and you got the new one, and they're pushing it as the end of the story, right? I was still, if you'd asked me 2 months ago, I would have thought it should have maybe gone north of 150, but still 143 bad, especially considering the reviews have not been fantastic, to which Ray Ora completely and vehemently disagrees with the reviews on this movie. He liked Jurassic World. I still haven't seen it because I was in Vegas this weekend.
Dumb, but fun. I don't know how else to describe it. I didn't hate it. I mean, I was smiling the whole time.
I mean, and you know what? You're not
just
alone.
really dumb.
Because I've been hearing from some other people over the weekend. Even when I was in Vegas, I start getting messages from people saying, hey, I went to go see Jurassic World. Well, first of all, I heard from a lot of people that hated it. But I started hearing from some people who went to go see it and said, you know what? I actually had an okay time. They were saying like what Ray was saying before. It's like, yeah, the story was kind of bad, but then a dinosaur would eat somebody. And he's like, okay, all is good in the world again. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, maybe there's enough of that. But Rob, as you're looking at this,
all of that.
As you're looking at this, how should they feel? How should Universal feel right now with 143? And what's your take on it?
Well, like you said, never underestimate the power of dinosaurs eating people.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to see. I think this is a franchise that is pretty much critic-proof for the most part, because if you think about it, what is this franchise about? It's just about dinosaurs. It's not like it's about, do we wonder whether Sam Neill's going to become a Sith Lord and be seduced by the dark side of the Force?
That would be a very interesting turn.
It could be. But that's, nobody's going to these movies. You go to these movies for one reason alone: dinosaur action. That's it. I mean, you're not going for the character development. You're looking for what are they going to do that makes a little bit different? What peril are the dinosaurs going to get into? Let's have a volcano erupt and there'll be a giant dinosaur stampede like we got in Fallen Kingdom or whatever. I'm like, that's cool. Like, I literally, if you give me one 5 or 10 minute sequence that has awesome dino action, I will walk out of a movie and be relatively, all right.
Dinos and ninjas is all you need to make Robert Burnett happy.
You put dinos and ninjas in a movie, like there's something. But you know what I mean? So I think most of the audiences, plus you got families that are going to go to this movie, and I think that drives it too. This is, say what you want. Dinosaurs are about families. They are, man.
I've never.
Dinosaurs are about families. They really are, because you know what? When you're a kid, you love dinosaurs. When you get older, you love dinosaurs because you loved them when they're dinosaurs. They never leave you. They're with you your whole life.
They left us in a very big way, Rob.
Well, they never leave our hearts.
Big way.
They never leave our hearts, Chris. And I think that I don't think there's a kid on planet Earth, no matter where they live, where they grew up, whatever. All kids love dinosaurs. All people love dinosaurs.
That's fair.
Chris, you heard of this number 143. Is this a number? First of all, what do you think about the number itself? And is this a number that Universal should be happy with?
I think they should be pleased, especially with how this has been reviewed by critics. Man, those numbers were abysmal. That was really, really awful. But then, as we saw, fans were coming in saying, no, this is fun. And we've got Ray Ora, the man of the people, telling us too. It's fun and dumb. It's like dating in your 20s. It doesn't have to be meaningful, right? It just needs to be fun. And while I'm very
dumb.
And dumb.
And dumb.
And there's a rest of that saying that I'm not going to finish. But so
wow, I walked into that one.
Yep. And while I'm very sad to hear that we aren't getting the Star Wars crossover that I'd hoped for, with Sam Neill figuring out how many midi-chlorians are in a raptor, as long as people are getting eaten, I mean, I'll still go see this. And at the end of the day, too.
Look at that frame.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need.
I'll never leave you. He's like,
never leave you.
You complete me.
Oh, that's so good. What a great moment.
Yeah, that dinosaur sex scene shouldn't have been there.
That shouldn't have been in there. That was too far. The T-Rex love scene was just a little much. But I mean, it seems like it's
especially with Laura Dern.
Oh my gosh. I mean, she could do whatever she wants though. But I just remember as a kid too, going to see just summer blockbuster popcorn movies that didn't have to be mind-blowing in terms of storytelling. And I know that's a really ridiculous way to look at movies, but sometimes you just want to have something that's fun and dumb and get you out of the heat and go eat some popcorn for 2 hours.
I'm going to go on a limb and say, if I had to choose to watch a movie a second time between Moonfall and Dominion, I'd watch Moonfall.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You liked Dominion. You didn't like
Because
Moonfall.
I didn't understand Moonfall. I need to watch it again.
I don't think anybody understood Moonfall.
I will say, though, I don't think it's going to have a particularly good following week, right?
Are you kidding me? Here's the thing: is following week, what kind of legs? Like, forget everything else. Lightyear opens next weekend.
Yeah.
And Lightyear is for families. Mm-hmm. And you're about to see dinos go extinct again. It's going to have, I'm telling you, it is not going to be a pretty second weekend for Jurassic World. I think you're talking about a 70% plus drop. 70% plus drop. But we'll find out. All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Jurassic World Dominion has a huge opening weekend, $143 million, pretty much on par with the last one as well. Is that a good number? How do you think it'll do on its second weekend? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 3.
Oh, boy.
Chris, what is our third main topic today?
Oh, it's about our favorite guy. One of our favorite guys.
Chris Evans?
No.
Oh, dear.
Bob Chapek. So it's from Blake, though. Hey, John, did you see that the Hollywood Reporter is reporting the news that Disney CEO Bob Chapek has unceremoniously fired Peter Rice, the chairman of programming for Disney? Well, this seems insignificant. What is interesting is that apparently Rice was next in line to succeed Bob Chapek as CEO. So it seems Bob Chapek axed him before he would ever get the chance. This is some real Game of Thrones level stuff here. What are your thoughts? And do you think this is another misstep for Chapek in his tenure as Disney's CEO?
All right. Thanks a lot for saying that in, Blake. And yeah, this is a story. Now, this actually came out on, I think this news dropped on Thursday. But this is a story that has continued to get more and more interesting. Now, look, I'll put it right out on the table. Everybody knows I am a big Disney fan. I love, not everything Disney does, obviously, but I'm a big Disney fan. I love a lot of the stuff that they do. I was also one of the people who was very pro when they announced that Bob Chapek was going to be the new CEO. I have changed my tune since, and I still cheer for him. I hope he does a great job, but I have not been particularly, let's say, impressed with the job that he has done as CEO of this company so far. Here's hoping to turn things around, whatever. We get news that Peter Rice, who had done a tremendous job since coming over from Fox in the acquisition deal. As a matter of fact, they just re-upped his contract in August. They re-upped his contract in August because as good as those divisions were doing under, previous administrations, he had been taking them to success after success after success. It's been glowing so much so that when the fire was starting to burn around Bob Chapek's feet a little bit, there were whispers going around in the industry and within the halls of Disney itself that Peter Rice could be the next guy up to maybe replace Bob Chapek if they decided to make a change at the top spot with CEO. Well, out of nowhere, and I don't know, I can't remember how JR used to say it, out of nowhere comes Bob Chapek and basically shivs Peter Rice in the back in the hallway somewhere at Disney.
Red-weddinged him.
He red-weddinged him. He totally red-weddinged him. And out of nowhere, total shock to everybody, fired him and promoted his main lieutenant, Dana Walden, who also came, by the way, Dana Walden, brilliant entertainment executive in her own right.
And they worked together at Fox for like 25 years.
Yep, she refers to him as a mentor and all that kind of stuff, promoting her to his spot, to which the industry has said, wait, what? The whole industry, the entire industry has been like, wait, you fired Peter Rice. Anyway, this comes to us from the folks over at IndieWire who wrote the following. The suddenly former chairman wasn't a good fit, according to one person with knowledge of the decision who spoke to IndieWire on the condition of anonymity. So obviously this is Disney PR. The source told us that Rice was a bit of a bully and was not very well liked within Disney. But that is not a universal opinion. Within the industry, many people find Rice to be charming, intelligent, and smooth. Chapek didn't always have everybody's confidence. Among the interesting talking points surrounding Rice's ouster is the fact that just months ago, certain Hollywood circles were abuzz with the opinion that Rice may replace Chapek. Our source with knowledge of the shakeup acknowledged that such chatter of Rice replacing Chapek did not go unheard within Disney's highest ranks, and they said it didn't not play a role in his firing. And that comes to us from the good folks over at IndieWire. All right. There's a whole lot here to unpack. on the one hand, is this frickin' dirty? Yeah. This is, if true, and we got to preface this, if I'm not there, I'm not walking around Disney's hallways right now. I don't know what's actually going on. I wasn't in the room where it happened, of course, as said by Hamilton. I wasn't there, so I don't know. Let's use that very big term, if. If that's accurate, this is one of the littlest, smallest, most petty things that you can do as a CEO. I mean, you've got an executive that is piloting their division to great success. It's win after win after win, and they're doing great. But because you're insecure, you're like, this guy's a threat to me. I'm going to fire him. And he up and fired. That means you're putting your own insecurities ahead of the well-being of the company that you're supposed to be the CEO of. Also, it's pretty shrewd. I mean, they said it when they wrote, the person who wrote in the message, this is some Game of Thrones shit. You ain't wrong. It is. It ain't show friends. It's show business, as Robert Meyer Burnett would say.
Bob Sugar.
Bob
Sugar, Jerry Maguire.
So if you're looking at this from the thing, look, do I think it's dirty? Yep. Do I think it's sniveling and a little insecure? Yep. Do I kind of got to tip my hat a little bit? Maybe. Because if he's trying to secure his position and you're like, because that was the big question going around, right? When the whispers are going around that Disney may look to oust Bob Chapek, one of the big questions was, but who do you replace him with? Who's there? Oh, you think you got an option? Let's move that option off the table. Now what are you going to do? So, I mean, again, let's re-emphasize this. We don't know that this is true, right? For all we know, Peter Rice took Mrs. Chapek out for a nice dinner and never called her again. I mean, I don't know. There might be something else there, something that we don't know. It's just that, you got Disney PR saying, oh, he was a bully and not well liked. Meanwhile, everybody else in the industry is going, what? Everybody loved Peter Rice. He was trying successful. And of course, then Dana Walden, she just gave her first kind of address to the staff at Disney. And she spent part of her address saying what a great mentor Peter was to her and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff too, which of course is the right thing to say. But I don't know. It's the next chapter in the ever evolving drama at Bob Chapek's Disney. I know, Rob, you saw this story. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I had heard it reported that it was, that Bob Chapek said to Peter Rice, there's really not a place here for you in the new Disney. And Peter Rice's response was something to the effect of, well, aren't we supposed to be forging, what the new Disney is? Look, I understand corporate shenanigans, but I never think it's a good thing to make decisions or act from a position of insecurity and weakness. Because the thing is, a guy like Peter Rice, see, here's the thing, Bob Chapek is a corporate animal. He's been a corporate animal. He's worked his way up through Disney, theme parks, home video. Because when I worked at Disney extensively in the mid-aughts, and Bob Chapek was a very well-liked guy as far as home video circles were concerned over at Disney. But guys like Peter Rice and Bob Iger, they deal with talent. They're dealing with the relationships they have with people. And I don't know if Bob Chapek is so... He has relationships with people within the corporate structure of things,
right?
Like dealing with department heads and all that. But when you're making stuff, when you're in charge of making movies and television, you have relationships with outside creators and outside producers, and you have to understand how creative people work and their own insecurities and their own craziness. A lot of time, those relationships don't fit within the corporate structure. And a guy like Peter Rice has experience Bob Chapek will never have. He has a skill set that Bob Chapek does not possess. Getting rid of Peter Rice, while probably ruthless, like you said, you could admire that because you understand why he did it. I don't necessarily think it helps Disney in the long run because, as you rightfully pointed out, he's doing a great job, and that's their job. Peter Rice's job was to make content, to oversee content creation, work with creatives, make this stuff happen. And that's probably the thing he likes doing. I don't know. People say Peter Rice wanted to succeed or was going to be the successor. But did Peter Rice want that? I don't necessarily think that he would. And so all I can think about is now that this has happened, I think that Bob Chapek, in a way, has diminished his position Because rather than have an ally like Peter Rice and have somebody working like that underneath him, he promoted Peter Rice's second in command. Well, who's her loyalty going to be to?
I'll tell you who's going to be to. It's going to be to Bob Chapek now.
Well, now it is.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But now it is until like Zaslav calls up Peter Rice and goes, "Hey, buddy."
Because to go back to Game of Thrones again.
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
he basically stepped and said, bend the knee. And I think that's what he's calling on everybody at Disney to do now is bend the knee.
Yeah, bend the knee. But that means your position is never totally secure. Because if Peter Rice can get summarily dismissed...
Yeah.
Anybody can get summarily dismissed. And again, I don't presume to know the inner machinations of what's going on. It just seemed like this was abrupt. The industry was taken aback by it. It wasn't necessarily.
And Peter Rice was shocked by it too. He didn't see it coming.
Peter was completely shocked by it. And you wonder, is that what you want to be doing?
Well, here's the thing. To quote Highlander, to quote Homelander, Bob Chapek's new philosophy in life seems to be, hey, I'd like to be loved. But if I can't be loved, I'm okay with being feared.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the new way of things. I don't know. Chris, you hear about this. What stands out to you?
I mean, the biggest thing is that right now it is so much... So-and-so maybe said this, so-and-so maybe said this.
Yeah,
everything that's reporting
that.
this is a Disney insider. So we're hearing things through, Fortune, through the Hollywood Reporter saying, well, a lot of people are saying that Rice was a little too relaxed, a little too loose. He was very Fox, and Disney, that just doesn't jive with how we do things. Whereas other people are saying, no, we really like Rice. We really enjoy how he works with us. This is great to bring balance. And I love that you brought up Peter Rice's relationship with artists, because we do have those people coming forward. We have director Danny Boyle coming forward saying, this is one of the best executives I've ever worked with. Disney will now be weaker and more corporate without him. Mm-hmm. But then on the flip side of that, you have Susan Arnold, one of the chairwomen over at Disney, who really doesn't make statements often, saying that the board is supporting Chapek fully and that they're behind him 100% of the way. But if that's true, then why are they waiting to renew his contract still, right? Because theoretically, that's up in what, February?
Yes.
So I feel like if you support somebody, maybe you go ahead and renew that contract. Waiting it out feels like maybe you don't fully back this
Because you know
horse.
whose contract they did renew? Peter Rice's.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now, by the way, Peter Rice is sitting at home going, dude, I'm going to go home. I'm going to watch the new Beavis and Butthead, and I'm going to collect a $60 million check from Disney for not going to work for the next couple of years because they had to pay him out for that contract.
Oh, yeah. And that's another thing. Why would you do that? Like ultimately, I mean, I can understand why you do it, but like you pointed out, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of Game of Thrones being played over there. Everybody's jockeying for position, and it's like, well, I get it.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this inner drama going on around the Iron Throne over there at Disney? Were you surprised by it? Were you not? Listen, this could be much ado about nothing. It could very well be that maybe Peter Rice stepped on somebody's foot. I mean, I don't know, or maybe it is what the political intrigue of it all. He's a wannabe to my throne. Let's get rid of him. I mean, I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 4 here, shall we? Chris, what is our 4th main topic today?
Our 4th topic comes from Gary Madigan. Hey, crew, hope you're all keeping well. As you know, Squid Game very quickly became the most popular series on Netflix in just 12 days. While it's been talked about, Netflix put out a video confirming that the hit series will be in fact returning for a 2nd season. While I felt it was a perfect as a miniseries, Netflix, especially with all that's going on with them, would have been crazy not to capitalize on the hype of the show. What are your thoughts on the series returning? And do you think it'll have the same intrigue as season 1? Thanks for bringing on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Gary. So Squid Game, listen, I admit I'm not as big on Squid Game as a lot of people, though. I did binge the whole thing in 3 days. Like, I enjoyed it. It's quite good. Very much Battle Royale, Hunger Games, like all that kind of feeding on that popular trope, whatever. But it was fun to watch, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Again, I don't think it's the greatest thing in the world, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. I see this totally becoming the new Saw, where, each Saw movie became about, it's the same story. It's just people go to see it to see what are the new traps. What are the new traps people have to get out of? And I think you're kind of looking at the same thing with Squid Games. It's just going to be kind of the same idea, but now it's going to be, what are the games going to be that they have to survive? And I'll tell you what, one big problems with Squid Game was this. The premise was the quote unquote villains behind it had this strong sense of fairness That was the whole driving principle, right? Like they even killed their own when they fixed the rules to be vegan. No, this is about fairness because there is no fairness in society, and this is gonna be about fairness. I'm like, yeah, but you're the same guys who didn't let the contestants know at the beginning when you let them vote on whether to do or not. Oh, by the way, there's only gonna be one survivor. They kind of made it sound like everybody could, if you all survive, you all win. The game was rigged, and yet anyway, that's one thing. Look, Squid Game became the biggest thing Netflix had ever put on air. It caught on around the world like wildfire. Them doing a second one was a no-brainer of all no-brainers. And now it is completely official. This comes to us from the good folks over at Joe Blow, who wrote the following. Squid Game was lightning in a bottle. Who could have predicted that this subtitled Korean series would become a worldwide phenomenon dominating pop culture for weeks after its fall of 2021 debut? It's one of those shows whose success is hard to duplicate, and in a move that shouldn't surprise anyone, Netflix officially announced yesterday that Squid Game Season 2 is on its way. In a letter to fans posted by Netflix, showrunner Dong-hyuk revealed some of the first details about the show. Among the reveals were the fact that star Lee Jung-Jae will return as the lead Ji-hyun, while also frontman who Korean megastar Lee Byung-hun played is also set to return, in addition to some new characters. Chris, it's official. I mean, obviously, nobody on this planet did not think they were going to do a season 2 of Squid Game. But it is now official. Do you think a season 2 can replicate that incredible success of the first? Will the novelty have worn off, or will it just bring in all new fans for it? How do you see this playing out?
Well, it's that magic in the bottle thing, right? Can you put the genie back in there? Kind of like what we were talking about with Knives Out before, too.
Right.
There's a lot of expectation placed on this, especially when it was, oh my gosh, this is so shocking.
Right.
We've seen that work to an extent with other franchises, like the Saw films, where it's then constantly upping the ante, right? But does it ultimately then just become this kind of copy of a copy? And ultimately, at the end, you have this kind of weird, blurry image that doesn't stack up to the original. That's the fear here. I do think if Netflix does what they seem to do best, which is cancel shows very quickly, if this is, we're only going to do a second or third season, and they really, really stick to how the original show came about, have those same writers in the room, keep the story at its core of what it's supposed to be about, really these people in very dire circumstances willing to just risk their lives to get out of debt, which is a horrifying concept that's way too relatable. I mean, I think as long as that is the thrust of this show and not how do we make people come back and be obsessed with it and do all of this, I don't know. It just seems like the odds are against them, but I have high hopes, if that makes sense.
Rob, I mean, the ending of season 1 was a total open door for where they could go with the story. So obviously, I'm not going to ask you if you're surprised they're coming back. Obviously, everybody knew they would. But same question to you. Can they recapture that lightning in a bottle with season 2? Do you think people will come back en masse for it? How do you see this playing out?
Oh, I think Chris is absolutely right. They have their work cut out for them. This is because one of the great things about Squid Game was the mystery and how the storyline did not go in the direction you thought it was going to go. When you were in this scenario, they constantly threw things at you didn't expect. So the show was full of oh shit moments. And that's a hard thing to do because now that you know what the game is and you know everything that they do to you, if they're going to bring back, I mean, it is going to be called Squid Game. So they have to essentially, it's kind of like the Hunger Games, John. I thought when I was reading the book, The Hunger Games, I'm like, this is really intriguing. And seeing where this is all going to go and who's going to survive. And then, of course, when it became a thing, Catching Fire was written. She has to. But when I read Catching Fire, I'm like, the novelty of Hunger Games, it was fine in the sequels. And I didn't like Mockingjay, the book. This is kind of the same thing. I mean, I don't see Squid Game being the phenomenon in season 2 that it was in season 1 because so much of what made Squid Game was the discovery of all of that.
Right.
The whole thing, everything about it was intriguing. Now, that's not to say that can't be duplicated, but the guy our creator of Squid Game worked on this for like 10 years and had time to work it out. Now, call me crazy. I don't think he's worked on a sequel for 10 years. He's like, there's some big money to be made here. So who's going to say no? He's not going to say no, but I think it's going to be really difficult. I hope in the case of Battle Royale, there was Battle Royale 2 Requiem, And the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, I actually never even watched the second one, to be honest, because I heard it was just that bad.
If you'd like, I could loan you my Blu-ray.
That's fine. I'm good. All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Squid Game Season 2 is coming. No brainer. Did you enjoy the first season? Did you love it? Are you looking forward to the second one? Maybe you're thinking the novelties weren't off. Maybe you think the best is yet to come. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 5.
Uh-oh.
Chris, what is our 5th main topic today?
This topic comes from someone also named Chris. Hello, John and crew. Well, just when you thought the Ezra saga can't get any more bizarre, apparently Ezra is on the run, MIA, and they cannot be located to be served court-appointed papers from local authorities. The scary part is apparently Takada, the young teenager who Ezra is accused of brainwashing and grooming, is at the center of the court papers, is with them. Thoughts on how much longer can Warner Brothers stay silent?
All right. Thanks for sending that in, Chris. Every time a new Ezra Miller thing happens, I think to myself, it can't get stranger than this. But it has. Okay, just to catch you guys up a little bit, without having to go back and cover everything about Ezra choking women and throwing chairs in people's faces and breaking into couples' bedrooms at night and, restraining orders and all that kind of stuff. So just to catch you up in the current situation. So young girl Takada met Ezra Miller when she was 12, according to her parents. Her parents, we talked about this last week, have gone to court to seek an injunction that basically bars Ezra Miller from being able to contact, communicate, or be in the presence of her or her family. The family claims that he's been brainwashing her since she was 12. At 14, Ezra flew her out to London and then got her to drop out of school at the age of 18. She is now 18 years of age. And when the parents went to go do a wellness check on her, the parents said that Ezra had taken away her keys, ID, bank cards, anything that would be able to let her live independently, that there were bruises on her body and all that kind of stuff. And the mom even says that Ezra assaulted her at some point and did file an official report with the police. So long and short of it is, the court has granted the injunction that basically orders that Ezra Miller may not be within 100 yards of the family and cannot be in communication with Takada. Here's the problem. Officers went to serve the court order, and they're gone. They say they can't find them. Now, listen, it is not like there is a national manhunt going on, and they're, pulling a Saddam Hussein, and they're living in a 6-foot ditch under somebody's backyard. But as of right now, they can't find them. This comes to us from the folks over at the Los Angeles Times, and they wrote the following. Chase Iron Eyes, that's the father, said he and the court have no idea of knowing where Takada and Ezra are to gain help from other jurisdictions, to serve or enforce the order which bars Miller from contacting or harassing Takada and Chase Iron Eyes and Jumping Eagle for 30 days. Miller is also ordered to stay 100 yards away from the family's residence during that time. According to the Domestic Violence Protection Order, the court, quote unquote, will grant the relief requested in the petition for a restraining order if Miller doesn't appear with the hearing, and Miller did not. It cites the Federal Violence Against Women Act, which gives the order broad jurisdiction nationwide. So that means this court order, which was done where they live, is enforceable across the entire United States. Now, look, again, it would be very easy to although how do you make this overly dramatic? It's already very dramatic, but it would be easy to over dramatic. Then again, people are thinking back to, like, what was the Mark Wahlberg Boston Strong movie about the Boston Marathon bombing? I can't remember the title of Patriot Day. Patriot Day was the name of it. Where, the kid was actually hiding in somebody's backyard under a tarp in a boat. I don't think that's what Ezra Miller or Takada are doing right now, but they clearly don't want to be located and served with this, at which point the court order would be enforced. This is yet another strange thing. Now, again, on this show, we are not here to talk about TMZ shit, okay? I really don't care about all that kind of stuff. Where I get interested is when, does something that's going on have a direct impact on the movies and entertainment that we watch? Because we are a movies and entertainment show. That's what we focus on here. Every time something with Ezra Miller comes by, we say, surely Warner Brothers can't stay quiet now. Surely Warner Brothers has to do something of this now. and it just keeps escalating. And I want to remind everybody, a couple of years ago when Ezra choked that girl, I had said on this show, if they don't do something about this, this is going to come back to bite them in the ass. If they just equip and encourage and enable Ezra to just act however Ezra wants to act, and they don't show any direct consequences of their actions, this is going to get worse, and it is going to, I said, quote, this is going to come back and bite them in the ass. Well, teeth is firmly planted on anus right now. This is biting them in the ass hard right now, because before, what they could have done is said, listen, we were very concerned by what we saw from Ezra Miller. We have sat down and discussed things with Ezra Miller. Had Ezra put out a statement saying, I'm embarrassed by my conduct. I've learned a great lesson through this. I'm going to work on myself, blah, blah. They could have handled this 2 years ago and then done what studios do. Put 3 body men on Ezra until the Flash comes out. To just stick with Ezra, 3 6'5" dudes, just stick with Ezra until that movie comes out. And it could have been dealt with and done. Now their options are extremely limited. What do you do? By the way, I'm seeing a lot of people online making false comparisons. For instance, I see a lot of people online saying, well, they fired Johnny Depp pretty quick. Why aren't they firing Ezra Miller? Well, the big difference with the Johnny Depp situation and Ezra Miller is that Ezra's movie is shot. They're done. This movie is sitting on a shelf waiting to be released. With Johnny Depp, I think they got like 1 week into shooting.
Yeah. Something
So
like that.
to step in and remove Johnny Depp from that, whether it was right or wrong to do it, I'm just saying that was a different set of circumstances than this is. We've spent the $200 million. We've spent this money on this movie. This movie is supposed to come out. It's not as simple as just, well, let's just fire Ezra and replace them. You can't just do that now because the movie's done. Now you got to drop another $200 million. But this is a situation that continues to evolve. And listen, as the person in the email writes, Warner Brothers surely has to say something now. The tricky thing is they should have a long time ago, but right now I don't know that they can now. Because right now, today, this moment, this is an evolving situation where there's a lot of unknown facts. Like we don't even know where Ezra is. For all we know, Ezra and Dakota were kidnapped. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying right now, this moment, Monday afternoon, is not when Warner Brothers should be saying something. But they should soon. But guys, this is one of those situations where everybody thinks they know what the right thing to do is. But I'll tell you what, I don't know what you do if you're Warner Brothers now. You've spent $200 million and counting on this movie. You can't just cancel the movie, but you now have a living pariah. And I feel badly saying that, but you know, in an allegorical way, you have a living pariah who's now the face of this movie. Can you release it in theaters? Rob, what do you do? Like they give you a call, David Zaslav, he's got his axe. I mean, he's ready to go. He's ready to swing that axe, but what do you do at this point?
Well, first of all, I've heard so many weird things on this story. Like I watched her Instagram post.
I saw that.
She did an Instagram post saying, you know, people are saying that I didn't say the words I said. I assure you I said them. And she was coming out against her parents. And to me, it's like, okay, so when she was 14, she was flown over to England to be on the set. Did her parents let her go? Like, it sounds to me like there's a lot more to the relationship here than that it's being reported. And I'm not saying that this is a good thing. It's not, in no way, shape, or form. But I had read that she was at Bard College and Ezra Miller was paying her tuition for her to go to school. Like, I would love to know the evolution of this entire relationship. If they met at Standing Rock, you know, back when she was 12, now she's 18. So you've got 6 years there of obviously an ongoing relationship. And there's all this, the parents are like, all this wackiness is happening. I'm like, well, where have you been for the last 6 years while this relationship developed between Mr. Miller or they and your daughter?
I don't want us to make this about the parents.
Well, no, but I'm asking, like we're now at the end of a road that has been going on for a long time. And we're now being asked to draw a bunch of conclusions based on a situation that we don't know much about, that has clearly been evolving for some time. Now that we're at this road, the the question becomes, what does Warner Brothers do about The Flash? I think they have to finally now say something, because the studio, through their inaction or they're not saying anything about this, it's now gotten to the point where, folks, you are asking people to even, what's it like to work on The Flash, John? Like, if you're an effects guy or an effects person and you're working, how do you feel about going to work every day, looking at, say you're working on shots of Speedster traveling through a city and it's Ezra Miller and you're looking at these, what's that like for people? Like, how do they feel when they go into work? What is the morale? They've still got a year of post-production on this movie. I can't imagine what it's like with all of these things coming out, what it's like for the actual people that are working day to day on this film, that your own studio they haven't said anything. And that's a weird position to put people in, I would think. I've never heard of a movie like this, but I can't get past the fact that there's people working on this movie every single day now. And they haven't said, we're going to halt production. They're moving ahead. They're going. They're spending money. And what's that like? And I think Warner Brothers has to say something. They have to say something to the public, and they have to say something to the people that are continuing to work on the movie. I think it's only fair.
Chris, I mean, I sometimes when I see people I know doing something really, really dumb, you think to yourself, what good do you think is going to come out of you doing this?
Yeah. What idea lost out to this one?
And I think if I could have a hotline to Ezra Miller right now, it'd be avoiding the authorities. I'm just curious. What is the optimal outcome of avoiding the authorities? Right? Like, how does this help you moving, regardless of what the situation is? How does trying to hide from the authorities, being served a court order which has been issued against you, how do you think that's going to help the situation? I mean, I just know, what's standing out to you with all this?
And it's just adding to a narrative that already so many people are chiming in on, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't add anything positive to it. And just to echo you too, right? We're not here to add to that narrative because we're not in the room with these people. So I don't want to demonize anyone involved in this situation. But Warner Brothers has backed themselves into a corner. We talked about this on Friday of by remaining complacent, they become complicit. And then when you don't make a statement, everyone then creates a narrative for you. What do you do now? You certainly can't have Ezra on your press tour. You don't know where they are. Where's Ezra? How are you going to do all those talking heads if you don't know where the Flash is? Right? What do you do with this film? Do you just dump it on streaming? Probably. I mean, you have to know where they are to do work with them.
And I just, again, I can't get over the fact that this movie's still in production.
Yeah.
It's deep in post.
Well, it's in post.
It's in post, yeah.
They're in post-production at this point.
They're not, I mean, but that's vital to a movie like this is actual principle photography. You know, they've got more people working on the movie now, probably, the army of effects artists. And then you've got sound design and whoever's scoring the movie and your poor director. Poor
Andy Muschietti. That's the guy I feel most bad for right now is Andy Muschietti. I mean, he's done nothing but pour his heart, energy, soul, passion into this film, doing the best that he can to make it as good as it can be.
The actress who gets to be Supergirl and everything, how excited she was about this
film.
film.
No matter what happens now, her moment is going to be completely overshadowed. You know, this is her big thing, and now this is going to be completely overshadowed.
And Michael Keaton returning as Batman.
Okay, so I was going to bring this up. This is not like a situation where Christopher Plummer had to come in and replace the scenes of Kevin Spacey, right? Because Kevin Spacey was a small role in that film. So they just had to bring in Christopher Plummer, shoot a couple of days, re-edit, all that kind of stuff. That is different from this, where Ezra Miller is the lead of this film and plays multiple versions of themselves in it as well, right? So here you go. This is what you do. You take this 2-hour and 15-minute movie and you edit it down to a crisp 90 minutes, where you basically edit all the Flash out. You shoot a few extra things with Michael Keaton and you call it Batman Returns again. And then you just re-edit it and make it a Batman movie.
Well, we talked about this a little bit of just making it a Flashpoint event and minimizing all of the Flash parts.
Yeah.
I mean,
focus on the old man Wayne.
Call it Batman Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Batman Flashpoint. That kind of works.
You know.
Exactly.
But you know what I don't understand either is if you've got nothing to hide, like since this situation's developing, you got to throw it back to Ezra Miller. Like, dude, it's up to you to come in. Your reputation, don't you want to face this? It just makes him look guilty as all hell.
Well, and that is what I don't understand for everyone involved. Then why there just aren't statements being made, aside from these now, these charges that are being pressed, right? Ezra Miller should have had a meeting with PR and put forth statements. WB should have had meetings with PR and put out statements, because now we're just snowballing, right? It just keeps getting worse. And how do you backtrack now from something that has gone completely downhill and started off as something that still was awful, but now it's just this huge cornucopia of bullshit?
And by the way, the court order that got issued was temporary. It was a 30-day order.
Right.
That's why I say, if I could have a hotline to Ezra Miller right now, it's like, okay, just let them serve you the papers, do whatever it is you got to do for 30 days. It's only for 30 days. Tell you what now, they're going to go back to the court and they're going to say, this can't be for 30 days anymore. Now they're trying to avoid the authority. I mean, so I don't know. Again, we do not have all the information. And when you get new information, you change your perception of things. And maybe tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, we're going to get new information and this will all look a lot more innocent.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, listen, everybody knows I like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I've always defended Ezra Miller as a Flash, but this is really damn concerning.
It's also just a bizarre situation. Like, were they hanging out by their parents' house? Like, we've not had any reports that he's where are they in North Dakota, South Dakota?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. It's like, so if they didn't know where he was and they put this restraining order, this 30-day, if he wasn't around them,
they went to their house. They went to Ezra's house.
Right.
Not there. They apparently looked around in some basic places, could not find where they went.
Not at their
or anything
kid's
like
house.
that. So again, listen.
Why don't they watch
tomorrow.
TMZ? They're in Hawaii.
Yeah, maybe they'll get turned up tomorrow. More shenanigans in Hawaii. Anyway, guys, question is for you. This is an evolving, completely odd and strange situation that seems to get worse by the day. At some point, Warner Brothers is probably going to have to say something about someone at some point, you'd think. But what happens here? Question is for you guys. What do you think is going to go on here? And what do you think the outcome is going to be? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys. With that down, we are now going to move on and start taking your live comments and questions. So we are now opening up the super chats. If you guys have a thought, comment, question, observation, whatever you'd like to fire in, go ahead and do that now. We will leave it open for 2 minutes. And guys, try to ease up on the multi-part ones, because it's a coin toss about whether we'll get to all of your parts if you do that. But hey, send it in if you want, and we will get to those in just a second. But before we do, we want to thank another sponsor of today's video, one of Ann and I's favorites, the good folks at HelloFresh. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. Let me take a second to tell you why my wife Ann and I love HelloFresh. As two working professionals, at the end of the day, it can be tough to get dinner together, and HelloFresh saves us loads of time, money, and most importantly, gives us great tasting and nutritious meals. And no joke, with the easy to follow along instructions, Ann and I actually have a blast cooking dinner together. And they're so foolproof, even I can do it alone when Ann's not there. And HelloFresh now has over 30 dinner recipes to choose from every single week. That is the most choices of any meal kit out there. Customize your favorite dishes with new Hello Custom offerings by swapping out one protein or side for another, upgrading for a more luxe experience, or even adding protein to a veggie meal. So guys, right now, go to hellofresh.com/Campea16 and use the code Campea16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Once again, that's hellofresh.com/Campea16. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Friends at HelloFresh for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, as happens sometimes, YouTube is giving us some issues. We announced that we were turning on the super chats. However, YouTube is giving us some problems here. They are not allowing us to get into the monetization page to even turn super chats on. I'm going to take another shot at it here. Give me a second. Rob, tell us about your newest hot toy.
No. Let me. I got a bunch of member chats.
Oh, great. Go ahead.
So, but Back Here Play, he gifted 5 memberships, it's Zante gifted 10 and then 20 memberships.
What?
30 memberships today.
Who is that gifted all those
I
memberships?
believe you pronounce it Itzante, Itzante.
Well, thank you, Izante.
That's a cool name.
That's amazing. Okay, do we have some questions from our?
Give me a minute. Sorry. Bat Gear says, I think maybe Chris Evans will be Human Torch for multiverse.
Yeah, I've seen people joking about that, but quite honestly, no, I don't think Chris Evans would never agree to it. So I do not see him going backwards that way. Not at all. All right, you got another one?
Broccoli says, bought my first pop a couple of weeks ago. Now I have 75.
That's the thing about Funko Pops. There's a reason I had none. And then Ray bought me, I think, 2
Supernatural ones.
Bought me a couple Supernatural Pops. And then I blinked and I had 300. Mm-hmm. I mean, and because they're not like Hot Toys where they're like $250 to $350 a shot. No. They're like $10. So like every time you're out, it's like, oh, there's Hot Topic. Oh, look, a new variant on the Aquaman one.
Ugh.
Let's grab that.
Every time I go to Universal, I'm just like, well, more of these are coming home with me.
Yep.
Once you pop, the fun don't stop.
And then
did you see there's a 40th anniversary Khan Noonien Singh from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan?
Oh, you're going to get that so fast.
By the way, speaking of Funko, did you hear they're buying Mondo?
Really?
From Arclight? Yeah, Funko's bought Mondo.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a little interesting thing for collectors. Sorry, Ray, was there more?
Okay, yeah, we got 4 more. I have one from Stephen D. Lent Waters.
Yep.
He's going to make me read this. It says, Squid Game 2, Electric Squidaloo.
Oh.
I like it.
By the way, no joke. Okay, back in the day, there were 2 preeminent breakdancing movies. All right. There was, of course, Breakin', right? But there was another one called Beat Street. Beat Street, King of the Beat. You'll be rocking that beat up and down the street. That is, of course, from Beat Street. It was funny. I have not even thought about Beat Street in forever, but they had like the 2 prominent breakdancing crews at the time, the real life ones in that movie. There was the New York City Breakers and there was the Rocksteady crew. I'm giving you a little bit of history into the world
there
of
was
breakdancing.
Shabba Doo and Shabba Ranks.
That was
dancers.
from Breakin', I think. Yeah, they were in Breakin'. But in Beat Street, they actually got the real, like, they got the New York City Breakers and the Rocksteady crew, and they got them doing all the dancing. It was great. That's what inspired me and my buddies to rip up the cardboard boxes and take our boom boxes down to the local mall. And that's how I eventually, I actually got paid to break dance. Me and my crew, does anybody remember the name of my crew?
I don't know what it was.
It was the Zodiac crew. And Zodiac. Like a bunch of idiots, we each went by our Zodiac sign name. So I was Pisces. How stupid is that?
Look, man, you know what?
20 more memberships.
Oh, 20 more memberships?
That's amazing.
Whoa,
thank you so much, guys. Holy shit.
John, you talk about mythical video of these days that your mother might have somewhere. I think it's time that you grace everyone who watches this show. All of our subscribers need to see they need to see Pisces.
No, never going to happen.
Come on.
It's never going to. I know exactly the VHS tape that it's on. It was when we were hired to open for a concert that was happening at Hamilton Place. And it's on a VHS tape. I even know where the box is, but it's being guarded by top men.
Top men.
Top men.
I'm going to get Ethan Hunt to Mission Impossible that shit.
Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Is that it for all the questions?
No, we got a couple more. And one by Nick. He says, "Hi, gang. I watched the Tony Awards last night, and it's clear that Ariana DeBose should be the next host of the Oscars. She absolutely crushed it last night.
Yeah,
she's funny and lovable.
She's amazing.
She was great, by the way.
Academy Award winner, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but as the host of the Tonys, she was great.
By the way, what's her name? I did not watch the Tonys, but Dreamgirls.
Jennifer Hudson?
Jennifer Hudson became an EGOT last night.
Yes, she did.
Jennifer Hudson. Congratulations, Jennifer Hudson.
Job, Jennifer
the newest
Hudson.
member of the EGOT club for Jennifer Hudson, winning the final leg of it, winning the Tony. So congratulations to her.
Oh, that's wonderful.
All right, what's next?
Okay, I got one from Bird Hop. She says, Does WB have insurance for a situation like Ezra Miller's to replace them or give them the waking life treatment and recoup some of the cost?
Okay, so all studios, when you go into production on anything, there's a lot of different insurances that they buy, and a lot of them are connected to the talent. I don't know that there's a policy for something like this.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like
I mean, having had to buy production insurance myself, I mean, there's things like force majeure,
yes,
act of God, but
I don't know that an insurance company would honor that on this situation.
No. And to be honest, I thought about this, and I don't think this is covered.
So I don't know. It's a good question, but I don't know if there's a policy for this directly. All right, what's
okay,
next?
Ritwick writes, I think sometimes David Zaslav would feel to axe himself considering the mess he is in trying to clear out and making the best of the most important property of WB Studios.
I don't think Flash is the most important property, but maybe he means that in terms of DC. Listen, I said, Andy Muschietti, the director of The Flash, is the guy I feel for the most. Just absolutely. But David Zaslav, a second. In buying Warner Brothers, now being the head there, this is the biggest issue and headache he inherited. This was not his making, this problem, but he's inherited it. And now they got to try to figure out a way to navigate this and get around this. And it's not going to be fun. All right, what's next?
Hoops Suni says, anyone get a chance to see Adam Sandler's Hustle yet? I thought it was pretty good, but nothing super special. Also, great job to the crew on Friday's show.
Aw.
Yeah, great job to the crew on Friday's show when I was not here. That was a really good job, guys.
That was fun.
I still haven't watched it. I've heard good things about it, but I mean, obviously, this was my anniversary weekend, so I
didn't want to watch us while you were hanging out with Ann on your anniversary.
Although we did sit down in bed, popped open the iPad, and watched the new episode of The Boys. We did do that, but we did not see Hustle.
Because that's romantic.
Yeah,
it was romantic.
I mean, there's a lot of romantic stuff happening in this episode of The Boys.
Yes. I mean, well, wow. No, we're not going to talk about that scene on air.
Yeah.
Wow, that scene. All right.
Okay. Chris Barsanis writes, first time ever that I was able to get tickets for Thor with no website crashing at all. Also, the longer WB keeps silent, the worse they will look.
No, well, look, again, they have dug themselves this pit. I said years ago, if you don't address this, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. It did. I think part of the thing that helped with there being no ticket problems with Thor was the fact that I don't think, I never knew when tickets were going on sale. I didn't think it was publicized like some of the other ones were, so that kind of makes sense.
Collins E. writes, I got tickets for a Thor marathon at Harkins Theaters. It starts at 5:30 a.m., but I think it'll be worth it. Love and Thunder will screen at Thursday noon.
Oh, geez.
5:30 a.m.?
And screening the main show at noon? Mm-hmm. I mean, you could probably take a nap through the Dark Elves one. You can probably take a nap through Dark World. But I mean, I would love to see Kenneth Branagh's Thor on the big screen again.
Yeah, I would too.
That is still me. That's a good one. Have a good time at that, man.
And we just got one from Adam from Fan Pops. He says, hey, John, any updates on what's happening with the old studio garage? Also, what happened to the solar panels?
Okay, so the solar, you guys might remember in the last couple of months that we were doing the show out of my converted garage, I installed some solar panels, and the entire studio was running off of solar. It was great. The whole studio, all of our monitors, computers, even the air conditioner in there was running off solar. So now that we are not in there anymore, my solar panels are used exclusively to charge the Teslas. That's it. So every day I go home, so the solar panels are plugged into my batteries. The batteries charge during the day. When I come home at night, I plug my car into those batteries and I charge the Tesla with the batteries. As far as that, we just got a 4K UHD short throw projector, digital projector, and just got a 120-inch screen. So I think maybe later today, Ray, me and Ray are going to put that together and mount it up on the wall. And that's
what a nice way to say Ray is going to put that together.
Yeah, basically Ray's, and then he's going to barbecue for us and make us dinner.
Yeah, because...
So we're basically turning it into a theater room. We are going to turn that entire room now into a big theater room.
I love overtime pay.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so
this is falling under the brother-in-law clause of your contract, buddy.
Mikael writes, over under 90% the acts of Zaslav falls on the Powerpuff Girls CW show.
Oh, it basically already has.
Yeah.
Because those scripts got leaked and then they were reworking the show, which I will say, as somebody who got to read the entire pilot, the show itself was actually really fun and meta, and they pulled out the worst parts of it And anything that out of context, right, doesn't sound great. Context
live
helps
action?
support things. It was live action. But I mean, Chloe, what's her name? Bennett, who was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
She already has left the show because she was going to be Blossom. So, I mean, it's very unlikely that show's even going to be made.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the action, or before David Zaslav even took over, I think. All right, guys, listen.
That's it.
Unfortunate technical issue here. YouTube's is all tied up. They are not allowing us to turn on or even get to our monetization page to turn on Super Chats. So unfortunately, no Super Chats today. Maybe we'll go a little bit extra long on the Super Chats tomorrow. But for today, guys, that'll do it. For this installment of the John Campea Show, thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all of you guys who are our members and you gifted those memberships to other members in the chat. Thank you so much for that. And to everybody else for just making this show part of your day. Again, for myself, I want to thank Robert Meyer Burnett, Chris Carr, Ray Ora sitting over there, producer Jonathan Voico, and I am, of course, John Campea. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. We'll talk to you next time. And until then, my friends, bye-bye.